My name is Larry Murillo. Well, actually, I started off as the 477 Human Services Director of this whole area, and now I've transferred into a portion of it, which is from the overall director to working with the EET program and the higher education part of that program. And so that I transferred maybe about 2 years ago. And so it's allowed me to kind of focus more on the educational piece of it as opposed to the overall direction of the program. There were a lot of other kind of more important things that we needed to look at, such as what types of professions were these students looking at? Who were the ones that were succeeding? So I wanted to find out who those were, so I started making lists when I got into this position. And so we're finding that the ones who succeed more in higher education have one of two factors, it seems. One is that your parents are already educated and they're help guiding you and navigating you through the system. And then the other are people who have a good work ethic, that are ranchers, farmers. They get up in the morning and they go into work right away. So those students that come from those families tend to do much better grade point average wise, and they stick to it, it seems like. So we're starting to see an increase in those kind of students. So when we came here, there was probably about 160 people who had graduated, or maybe a little less than that. And since then we've gone over 200, and I think it's about 214 with bachelor's degrees. And now we have over 50, I think it's 52 with master's degrees and 9 people with doctoral degrees. But currently, last 2 years we have had, actually 3 years, we've had 11 students in graduate school, and the most they've ever had before that was like 2. And so that's about those ones who are either in our workforce that could go back to school and willing to sacrifice their income to get that degree, and then the others are ones who have been just going straight from undergraduate into graduate types of programs because they're being guided that way. So there's a certain percentage of our students that haven't picked out a major. They're going to have things that happen in your life or in their family. Someone dies. Sometimes they don't have enough money to get back after they go home, and then they never show back up to school. There's just a variety of situations that can inhibit a person from succeeding. But what we're trying to do is we help them with those types of support, financial wise, so that they can get to their funerals or be able to come back or pay their rent or pay for car, because usually car and housing is going to be the 2 major obstacles, especially if you're away from home, to succeeding. And so we do have support for that. We don't have enough to pay for their rent for every month, but at least when it's critical and they really need a boost, that's when we can come in and help. So those are some of the situations that are, that and plus getting the tuition part we haven't done as well at, because we have so many different students going to so many different schools. So the students, we have to try and guide them and hope that they can be self-sufficient enough that they can start seeking that type of support. Otherwise, when we see that they're struggling or something, then we start calling them and talking to them to see what we could do to help them or to encourage them to seek that help. But I also like to talk to both high school and undergraduates about their potential for going on to graduate school, and to let them know that it's an option for them, that the tribe will pay for that, and that there's, well, not only that, sometimes I think people need to hear that they have the intelligence to do that. Because in our schools, too many of the people, the mainstream, look at Native people as if, you know, all of them are undereducated or drunks or whatever their myths are about us. And, you know, there are some people that fit that myth, but then the majority don't. But people, of course, when they live near a tribe, they hear enough to think that they know all about you. And so, for example, they think we all got just millions of dollars from distributions, you know, for the gaming and all this other stuff. They don't know that some people get like land leases. So that's money that's legitimate because you own land and you're getting lease money for someone using it. And then you also have things like the gaming, which, you know, our tribal members only get a couple $1,000s a year, so they're not going to get rich off of that. It's just something to supplement their income. And but then, like I know when I was in college, and I've talked to plenty of other people, plus ones who are currently going to school, people come up to you and say, oh, you don't even deserve to be here because you're just giving everything for free. So that's their idea, is that, you know, first of all, we don't qualify to be there, and secondly, that we're just being given everything that we have. So when people like that would come up to me, I just ask them, well, you want to go check grade point averages and let's see who really deserves to be here? And so I wasn't afraid of people like that. But some of our students can get lost in that, especially when professors have those kinds of things, and they certainly do. Not all of them, mind you, but there are certain ones that have ideas stuck in their head about who we are as a people, and do we deserve to be up there or at the university, and why are they there? So those are, but there are a lot of different myths. I mean, for example, one student that was in 4th grade, they were asked to write about their culture, and so she wrote about what she wore when she was doing a powwow, and the teacher gave her an F because she said that isn't what I read in my books, so therefore you're wrong and I'm going to give you an F. It's like, how could you do that to someone that there's reasons for it? Now, 4th grader's not going to be able to articulate all of them, but she knew that what she was doing is just how she had been taught, and she's trusting her own community to know what they're doing. And then when you have outside people saying that's invalid, that drives you crazy. And then another, when I was in California, I was involved in tobacco education as a public health professional, and but over there they had a big public-wide or tobacco education kind of campaign, and so the message in the mainstream was tobacco is bad. It's bad for you. Don't use it. Okay, that's great. But in Native communities, that'd be like going into a Christian church telling them not to use wine because you're going to become an alcoholic, when in fact has a lot of religious and also ethical kinds of things it's trying to teach you. And so tobacco's the same way in our community. And so kids would come back and they'd be telling their parents stuff, and their parents would get all upset with them. Why are they teaching you that? And so there's this constant struggle between cultures, and the kids see it because they're put in a place where the majority of people in that room would all agree with that teacher. And so even for myself, you know, like when I went into town one time, and I have a doctoral degree, and one of the workers at, I think it was Office Depot or Office Max, asked me, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a professor at Idaho State University. I'm the director of their Master's of Public Health program. And he just looked at me like he thought I was lying. So I just got out my card and put it on it, you know. But he was still surprised, you know what I'm saying? So to hear a Native person even say that is unusual, I guess you'd say. But on the other hand, a lot of people up here don't see it as an accomplishment, in which it is. I mean, to me, it's like we should be running and screaming every time one of our people get a doctoral degree or a master's degree, because it's a big accomplishment for our community.